one of such countries we know is China. China was colonized by Japan, and they have never colonized anybody. And while we have what we are having going on in the world, while there are bombs are dropping in what do you call it, in Gaza, and we had, you know, what do you call it, in Tripoli, Libya, bombs were dropping. Sudan, bombs are dropping.
Iran,
Iraq, bombs are dropping. We have the Yemenis, you know, upon their economic misfortune, bombs are still dropping. Syria, the chaos that went there, they sent Assad packing. And while all these things are going on, all this chaos going on, man, humanity to man, genocide of immense proportion going on, China is gradually revolutionizing and changing the landscape. Politically, economically, if I even their political process and systems, it's something to even look at. And then it now comes into economics. When we had a SWIFT system of financial transactions among nations and among companies, among individuals, that was now weaponized because it was based on the dollar. Because it was based on the dollar, before you know it, when a nation is even trying to do something that is against the interests of certain countries, they sanction the country. So they sanction you, you are not able to pay your debt, and then what you have, interest rate accumulating, and before you know it, you become a serious debtor nation. And then you are not allowed in the global trade space. Okay, the countries are told not to deal with you, and if those countries refuse to obey, and then they will pull the trigger, economic trigger, and sanctions will be thrown at the person. And look at what happened in the Russia-Ukraine war. Sanctions were thrown, if not because of some of that backdoor arrangements that Russia had with other very key nations. They would have been crippled. Their ruble would have gone to ruble.
Even the some of the companies owned by Russians or indigenes were confiscated, were domesticated, both in U.S. and in Britain.
Yeah.
We saw what happened to Chelsea, owned by one Abramovich.
Yeah.
And in fact, they sent him back and collected the team.
Yeah, if over $300 billion, we understand, have been frozen of Russian assets, and because they were dollar based.
Yeah.
And now the Chinese are talking about the RMB, and they are digitizing their yuan currency, and several other nations have plugged in, you know, to use that as a exchange mechanism for their goods and services to flow. And of course, we have the BRICS. We know what the BRICS is doing, where you don't even need any country's currency. You can trade directly. Nigeria, for example, can trade in Naira with Russia, can trade in Naira with Australia, can trade in Naira with any European country. All we need to do is we send you goods, you book down that you are owing us Naira. You send us goods, we book down, we are owing you your country's currency. So that balance of trade is done in our local currency. So it's no longer going to be in a foreign currency where it will be weaponized.
One-sided.
You know, so it is this perspective that we are looking at this Chinese effort. You know, it is not about strengthening the yuan, because the yuan is even devalued, and they have been begged to revalue their currency, and because they are a manufacturing company, a manufacturing base, they don't need to revalue their currency, because if they state their currency and make it devalued, then their goods and services will be cheaper to sell abroad. You know, so they know this very well, and that is why all the pressures on them to devalue their currency is entry deaf ears. They are acting as if they don't even understand your language, you know. And you know the Chinese, once they keep you quiet, they keep you quiet. They don't, if it's not benefiting them, they just keep you quiet rather than get you annoyed. It's you that will annoyed and start beating them. And when you beat them and they respond, you say, what has happened?
Mhm.
So it is in light of that we are looking at this RMB digital currency that they are putting out there, and it's actually challenging the US. So what's the impact of this when we now look at the global perspective, the economic power that it is giving to Chinese, and then of course we know not just the economic power, manufacturing base of China is very, very strong. There's nothing we have out there now you don't see made in China. Even here in this studio, there are so many things here that you point to, you see made in China everywhere. The designs were done elsewhere, but they are manufactured in China. And then China has picked up on that, and they have gone very far. I've seen some of the things they are producing, whether it is fast train, they keep improving. Each time they bring something to the market, the next time you see them bringing something, in fact, they are competing against themselves. They don't wait for you to meet them up. Whatever they have put out there, they want to improve on it. Whether it is 6th generation technologies and all